Hey everyone, this is Ambo Prince Eric here and welcome back to my channel. Now, in today's video, we're going to discuss for the close test 14.10, which is going to be a new content as well as the ships that I never watched on the Twitch live stream accordingly by Thursday morning and as well as the Friday midnight. So let's get started right now, and don't forget to subscribe my channel, click the bell notification icon, and I really want to help to make my channel grow. Alright, so let's get on to it. But of course, before we're gonna get started, I just wanted to make an announcement. Okay, for the announcements ever so far I was injured about the onslaught against the against the severe tropical storm Ompong, which is the international name called Bualoy, that threatens our capital city and including my home province is Rizal. As far as we know that I ever completed the Docker combat missions ever so far, and we obtained the Lavi, which is on to be seen here on the background. Alright, so let's get started for this. And before we head on to it, so be sure to check it out for the new dev blogs, but it is improvement in this time. Okay, so the first takes on the Welcome to Improved Development blog. It was posted on September 24, 2025 at 1200 hours Universal Time Coordinate. It was supposedly here on the evening. Captains, we are glad to welcome you at our updated development blog portal. The new design offers a clearer visual presentation of news and makes it easier to navigate through the publications using categories. We also prepared several quality of life improvements. You'll now be able to jump straight into Discord discussions for an article. Traffic there is a public test available and customize how the news feed is displayed. In addition, we make a number of internal upgrades that will enhance the quality and visuals of our publications, and we will see the results in our upcoming articles. There's plenty of exciting news on the horizon, so don't be a stranger and check out development blog regularly. Alright folks, so let's get started for the new contents as well as the new ships for the close test 14.10 that I already showed this entirely to the viewers and the audiences ever so far. Alright, so let's get started on the close test 14.10 for the new contents. The temporal lift, Black Friday and more, which was accordingly by World of Warships developers back on Thursday morning here in the Philippines. So I never watched it at the time because I have to work on early in the morning, so I have to leave on to it. Okay, so let's get started. So it was posted on September 25 on the eve of the anniversary of the devastation of Typhoon Ondoy, the international name called Ketsana, which states before its 16-year anniversary. Hello captains, and welcome to this new development blog post. Today we'll be covering what you can expect to see in update 14.10. Alright, the first stop is the temporal lift. First up is the temporal lift, a new temporary battle type with a unique attack and defense gameplay. So this is gonna be an interesting news. Temporal lift will be a sci-fi what-if style event when some advanced technologies are brought to the past using time travel. The event will run through update 14.10 with 2 consecutive operations, Shadow Time and Rift Watch, and continue for 2 more weeks in update 14.11 during which the operations will rotate. Let's see what the Chrono Distortions brought us in this event, which features both familiar and new mechanics and is full of dynamic battles. Okay, for the operations, you face off in 9 player battles against waves of bots on a very large map, similar in size to the ones used in the key battle and big hunt events. In Shatter Time, your team must capture the enemy base, but first you need to advance through 2 lines of defense, each containing 3 key areas. Each line unlocks sequentially when your team captures a set number of key areas or when the timer runs out. Capturing a key area weakens the enemy base facilities. such as the artillery forts, repair ships, and aircraft carriers, making the final push easier. Even capture a single area, but losing a line will make the last battle slightly easier. In Rift Watch, the roles are reversed. Players will have access to all the base bonuses and must defend both the base and key areas against bot attackers. In Operations, we'll use a respawn mechanic similar to Unbreakable Line but with a few changes. Respawn sectors move forward after each capture line, and you can choose where to respawn. You receive standard respawn buffs, some such as the speed, acceleration, maneuverability, and concealment. Plus, all consumables and armament including torpedoes are fully replenished. For the duration of the event, you will receive special rental ships designed for faster shootouts. These feature enhanced accuracy, flatter ballistics, more frequent chain damage on hit, and others. And some economic bonuses cannot be used in temporal leave, but you can mount signals on even ships. Alright, one of the features for the temporal leave is a missile armament. Okay, so missile weapons will be available exclusively in temporal leave aboard event ships. Here's how they work. Each ship has a limited number of missiles, which replenish upon respawn. Targeting is simple. Designate an area on the map and fire. The missile will handle the rest. As it approaches the target area, the missile scans for enemies. If an enemy is detected, it locks on and homes in automatically. But similarly is going to be the homing missiles. Like torpedoes, missiles are undetected for some time. You receive warning when they are nearby. Use the missile defense system, a manual rechargeable armament, to scan a code near your ship and reveal undetected missiles. Once detected, the missile is automatically engaged by your ship's defense systems, similar to AA guns. Alternatively, you can attempt to evade it, though that will not be easy. Here's gonna be the missiles are gonna be featured for World Warships, but it will be available for a temporary leave. But in real life simulation, the missiles can be armed for the use of the naval warships to be engaged simultaneously. To attack against missiles though, there is one thing to do for against the surface-to-air missiles and air-to-air missiles, such as one of these mechanics we ever use for to targets against missiles. So this is basically these missiles are used for the modern warfare effectively. Alright, the progress and upgrades. Completing secondary tasks grants stars that allow you to progress to the event line, similar to the In the Name of Tomorrow event that takes place in the previous update. Progression provides valuable rewards, 3 new team flights, and event tokens, which can use to purchase upgrades for event ships. Some upgrades offer simple bonuses like increased speed, while others let you customize ships for specific playstyles by improving certain parameters at the cost of others. For example, if you want to emphasize your fire starting potential, you can install an upgrade that increases fire chance and damage dealt to burning targets, but decreases main battery damage. You can also unlock more event ships, each with its own specialization. Some unassigned commanders. The temporary leave will be the first event to introduce unassigned commanders. Based on how well this feature performs, we may continue to expand it in the game in the future. These new 10 skill point commanders including Commodore Joanna Lee, Admiral Wolfgang Crow, Saber 777, and Dr. Marcus Steele. They do not belong to any nation until you assign them to a ship. Once assigned, they adopt the ship's nation, flag, and relevant specialization. You cannot change a commander's nation after assignment. You can own multiple copies of the same unassigned commander, and each one can be assigned to a different nation independently. You can unassign commanders for free by playing the temporary lift. Okay, the Black Friday 2025. But the Lucian B Dockyard will kick off Black Friday activities at the start in the next update. But the main event takes place in the update 14.10. Black Friday is the perfect time to expand your fleet with exclusive ships, both fan favorites and new additions. This year, several new Black Friday ships are joining the roster. For the Tier 10 ships, we got the American Large Cruiser Puerto Rico B, the US Battleship Rhode Island B, Tier 9 Soviet Destroyer Neutrashimi B, Tier 9 Pan-European Battleship Karl 14 Johann B, as well as the Tier 8 German Heavy Cruiser Skill B. Unique Black Friday flags will be available for current spotting new ships as well. 2 new Black Friday containers, one of the key features of the event, will also be available, with a chance to drop one of the black ships, including some of the newcomers. Okay, we got a Black Friday 2025 container as well as the premium container. So you might be ever chances to go on the premium container, guys, but you ever wanted to make a chance to get home for the Black Friday ships for some reason to do for. Hey, the Black Friday Squadron. This year introduces the Black Friday Squadron, a visual tracker for players of ships you own. It helps you track which of our traditional Black Friday combat missions with doubloons and other rewards for owning a full pair are still eligible to you. And to make it even sweeter, you can get more rewards at Black Friday Squadron's progress bar. Collecting Black Friday ships fills a progress bar based on the rarity of the ship you collected. With 10 milestones, you can get rewards, including Black Friday 2025 containers, steel, research points, and a monochrome enemy destruction effect. Ships you own before the event also count toward progress. Okay, then one of the new features and new content is Assisted in Destruction Ribbon. As just what's that similar from the Leicester server, now we finally revealed for the newly introduction to our game. We'll be all being in battle when you deal most of the damage to enemy ship only for someone else to score the kill. The new Assisted in Destruction ribbon recognizes your contribution. You receive this ribbon if you didn't deliver the final blow to destroy ship but met with following criteria. You significantly contributed to the destruction of the ship. Your contribution includes one or more of the following: directly dealing damage, providing spotting damage, forcing the enemy to use damage control party by causing fire, flood, ping, or module damage, followed by fire flooding damage while the consumable was on cooldown. Multiple players can receive this ribbon for the same ship if their contributions meet the requirements. Now, for the most contents of the upcoming Salvage for Victory is about Blitzkrieg 52. In Update 14.10, we will honor Poland's National Independence Day and Polish Naval Day with special activities. This is gonna be the celebration for the commemoration of the Polish Independence Day that immediately taking place after the First World War, after 123 years of the foreign occupation for the Prussian, Austria, and Russia. The highlight is the Salvage for Victory event in the Armory. You can exchange resources including steel, research points, and a limited number of premium days at Elite Commander XP to obtain the new epic Blitzkrieg 52. You can also obtain the rare Blitzkrieg 44 along with honor farming permanent camouflages for all 3 Blitzkrieg incarnations. An animated naval officer will appear in port and briefly at the start of the battle. Additionally, you can earn the new Polska White Sinaka permanent camouflage for free by completing special combat missions using Blitzkrieg, Blitzkrieg 44, or Khan El Grom. We have also prepared a small gift. Finally, the last thing to do for content additions and changes. As usual, new content is coming in this update. We got Lloyd Kraton 2025 flag, Commander Aristotle with an individual voiceover, single dog patch. The Clan Battle Season 32 achievements are Pelican and Hurricane Pelican. 3 new ships based on existing models will be added to the game. Some Ovasen, the base of the Pan-European Swedish destroyer Småland. PTRP PVLSK is based on the Soviet heavy cruiser Petropavlovsk. And Wasin is based on the German battlecruiser Saiten. Distribution details for this content will be announced later. And finally, the upcoming Tier 10 French submarine Sukhov will receive a spawning aircraft consumable and a new animation showing its launch from the water surface, as she does not have a catapult or flight deck. So I hope you enjoy for that and get ready for that in the new ships that are coming. Okay, for the close test 14.10, new ships and Commonwealth Unique Commander. Okay, this is gonna be the upcoming ships accordingly for the World of Warships developers that took the live stream back on Friday midnight. Okay, it took place on September 2025 at 1800 hours. That means our Philippine Standard Time was on September 26th. Captains, in this new development blog, we are thrilled to announce the upcoming new branch of Pan-European battleships, a pair of premium ships, as well as the first Commonwealth Unique Historical Commander. Okay, a new Pan-European battleships. A new branch of researchable ships is on the horizon in World Warships. Some say the Pan-European pocket battleships. Starting at Tier 4, it will feature 7 ships, including Yavuz Sultan Selim, Chios, Eniheten, Gustav Destor, and Thor, which we are ready to present now. We will share details and images of the Tier 5 Tegetov and Tier 6 Laudon will be later. Tegetov is famously well known as the lead ship of the Tegetov class battleships named after the person, in which means that belongs to the Austro-Hungarian Navy at the time, before its collapse in 1980. The new branch presents battleships of several pan-European nations with smaller naval powers. Specifically at lower tiers, you will find both historical and hypothetical steel giants in the Mediterranean navies of Austro-Hungarian, Turkey under the Ottoman Empire, and Greece under its kingdom during the First World War and the interwar period. The higher tiers shift the spotlight to hypothetical developments of Swedish shipbuilding, which is one of the few nations in Western Europe capable of building major ships at the onset of the Second World War. But still, Sweden is still neutrality on both world wars ever since, until in 2022 when at the time of the Russo-Ukrainian War began. The new pan-European battleships rely on an array of armament and equipment to tip the balance of battle in their favor, instead of going all in on big guns. Indeed, their smaller caliber main battery guns are not the immediate weapon of choice due to long reload times and mediocre maximum range. That said, at the top of the branch, Tier 10 Thor stands out for her great ballistics, making her more forgiving and rewarding when landing shots. Importantly, all these vessels feature powerful torpedo armament. At lower tiers, they have underwater torpedo launchers typical of First World War, which up until Tier 7, and are a few and a bit slow. From Tier 8 onward, their torpedoes become more powerful in terms of speed, damage, and launching angles, enough to make enemies think twice before closing the distance. Another feature to boast, pan-European battleships have very low detectability for this ship type and, on higher tiers, pretty good speed, which gets even better with the time-based emergency engine power consumable, which is starting on Tier 5. It offers a significant speed boost, not only for the short duration. Starting for Tier 8, these warships get access to surveillance radar as well. At the same time, pan-European battleships have relatively small HP pools, which means they have to choose their fight carefully. To somewhat counterbalance this upset, they have quite good armor. In-game, pan-European battleships are deadly and stealthy, though rather fragile predators. Take advantage of your concealment and surveillance radar to get closer to a chosen target and strike with your guns, and follow it up with a torpedo salvo. Use your high speed and emergency engine power to quickly relocate or get away from the retaliation, which can be painful in your case. Check your surroundings and watch out for long-range titans, as these ships are vulnerable to broadside attacks. Starting out the Tier 4 class Thorn, we got a Tier 4 pan-European battleship, Yavuz Sultan Selim. Yavuz Sultan Selim started out as a Moltke-class battlecruiser SMS Goeben, being a general improvement over the first Imperial German Navy battlecruiser, Von der Tann. She served with the light cruiser SMS Breslau as the German Mediterranean Division, and patrolled the waters during the Balkan Wars. At the outbreak of the First World War, both ships bombarded targets in French North Africa, and were then swiftly pursued by Allied warships all the way to Constantinople. Due to the British seizure of 2 Ottoman dreadnoughts under construction, the German ships were transferred to the Ottoman Navy, helping to tilt still non-belligerent Ottoman Empire's favor towards the Central Powers. She took part in several engagements with Russian forces in the Black Sea, sinking several ships and taking heavy damage from mines. retained in service of the new Turkish Republic after First World War and the Turkish War of Independence. She served as a flagship of the Turkish Navy until her retirement in 1950, and she was later scrapped in 1973. At the time, she was the last battlecruiser in the world and the last capital ship of the Imperial German Navy to be scrapped. Okay, this is one of the most historical feature in the game. Yavuz Sultan Selim under the banner of the Ottoman Navy before the Turkish Navy under the Turkey. Okay, so Yavuz Sultan Selim, which is initially as a member of the Moltke class battlecruiser SMS Goeben, which is a sister ship of the Moltke featured in the game. Alright, so let's talk about these parameters. So very similar for Moltke. The hit points is 37,600, the plating 19mm, and the 16% torpedo protection. The artillery using the 5x2 283mm guns. The firing range is 16.3 kilometers. HE shell damage is 3,900. The initial velocity 880 meters per second. Fire chance 20%. The AP shell damage is 7,250, and the initial velocity will be the same. The reload time is about 30 seconds, 180-degree turn time 40 seconds, and maximum dispersion 223 meters, and the sigma is 1.80. For torpedoes, remember for that it's located underwater. You can deploy it right now immediately. The featured for that is the torpedo turning. The torpedo tubes we got a 4x1 500mm. The damage is 30,100. Range is 6 kilometers. The speed is 60 knots. Reload time 100 seconds. Torpedo detectability 1.5 kilometer. And launcher 180-degree turn time 15 seconds. For secondary armament we got 12x1 150mm. We got maximum range 4 kilometers. Reload time 8.6 seconds. HE shell damage 1,800, chances of crossfire 10%, and the initial velocity 835 meters per second. The armor penetration is 38 millimeters, and 4x1 88 millimeter. The range is 4 kilometers. The reload time 4 seconds. HE shell damage 1,000, chances of crossfire 4%. Initial velocity is 890 meters per second, and the HE shell armor penetration is 15 millimeters. For air defenses we got 4x1 88mm and 8x1 7.9mm. For short range we got a 60 damage per second, and the long range we got 18 damage per second. Number of explosions the sabo will be a 1, damage within explosions 770. For the action zone we got 3.5 to 4.6 kilometers. Maneuverability we got the maximum speed is 25.5 knots. Turning circle radius is 650 meters. And rudder shift time 12.2 seconds. For concealment we got a surface detectability 11.4 kilometers. Air detectability 9.5 kilometers. And detectability after firing main guns to smoke will be 8.4 kilometers. We got something for consumables. The first slot we got damage control party, and the second slot repair party. The next one is the Tier 7 Pan-European battleship Chios. A Mackensen class battlecruiser that could have been given to Greece after the First World War as compensation for the order but unfinished battleship Salamis. The ship was named in honor of the victory of the Greek army and navy in the Battle of Chios in 1912-1913 during the First Balkan War. Okay, so Pan-European Greek battleship Chios, which is going to be a Mackensen class battlecruiser, same parameters. The hit points is 52,200. The plating is 26mm. The torpedo protection 22%. The main battery will be used of 4x2 350mm. Fire range is 19.1 km. HE shell damage 4,850. HE shell armor penetration 58mm. Chances of cross fire 27%, and the initial velocity 850 meters per second. For AP shell damage, we got 10,600, and the initial velocity is the same parameters. The reload time is 30 seconds. 180-degree turn time, 40 seconds. The maximum dispersion, 251 meters, and the sigma is 1.80. The airstrikes you see at depth charges. The reload time will be 25 seconds. They got 2 available flights. Number of aircraft in attacking flight will be 1. Maximum range is 9 kilometers. Only 1 bounce in payload. The bomb damage will be 3,400. For torpedoes, we got a torpedo tube 5x1 600mm. The damage is about 18,433. The range is 9 kilometers. Speed 60 knots. Reload time 100 seconds. Launcher 180-degree turn time 15 seconds. And the torpedo detectability 1.5 kilometer. Okay, for secondary armament we got the maximum range is 5.6 kilometers and reload time 7.5 seconds. We got the maximum HE shell damage 2,200. Chances of crossfire 13%. The velocity is 835 meters per second and the armor penetration 25 millimeter. For 8x2 100mm, we got maximum range 5.6 kilometers. The reload time is about 6 seconds. HE shell damage 1,500. We got 6% chance of fire, 850 initial velocity for high explosive, and the shell armor penetration got 17 millimeters. For A defenses consist 10x4 40mm, 14x2 20mm, and 8x2 100mm. For short range, continued damage per second is 182. For mid range, we got damage per second 284, and the long range continued damage per second is 70. Number of explosions in the salvo will be 3. Damage within explosion 1,120. Action zone from 3.5 to 4.6 kilometers. The maneuverability, we got speed is 28 knots, turning circle radius 780 meters. Loading shift time 30 seconds. For concealment, we got the surface detectability 13.1 kilometers, air detectability 10 kilometers, and detectability after firing main guns of smoke will be 11.5 kilometers. For some consumables, but in addition we got a new feature, the emergency engine power. It takes on the 3rd slot after the repair party. Alright, the next one is the Pan-European battleship Enigeten, the Tier 8. A mid-sized battleship that could have been designed and built in Sweden in the first half of the 1940s as part of one of the emergency programs to strengthen the Navy in the face of the country's threat to become involved in World War II. The battleship inherited her name Enigeten, or Unity, from the 18th century ship of the line of the Royal Swedish Navy. Okay, the new Pan-European battleship Enigeten, known as Unity. The survivability 54,700, plating is 32mm, torpedo protection 22%. The artillery uses the main battery 3x3 381mm. The fire range is 19.9 kilometers. HE shell damage 5,100, 20% chance of fire, initial velocity 700 meters per second. For the AP shell damage is the 11,400 and the initial velocity is the same parameters. The reload time is about 30 seconds, 180-degree turn time 40 seconds. The maximum dispersion 259 meters and the sigma is 1.70. For airstrikes using depth charges, we got 30 second reload time, we got 2 available flights, only single number of a single aircraft in attacking flight, 10-kilometer range, you got 2 bombs in payload, and the bomb damage is 4,200. For torpedoes, we got a 2x4 533mm. The damage is 17,500. The range is 10 kilometers. Speed is about 65 knots. The reload time 100 seconds. Launcher 180-degree turn time 7.2 seconds. And torpedo detectability about 1.5 kilometers. For secondary armament, we got a 4x2 120mm. The range is 6.6 kilometers. 3-second reload time, HE shell damage 1700, chances to cause fire 7%, the initial velocity 850 meters per second, and the armor penetration is 20 millimeters. For air defenses we got 14x4 40mm and 4x2 120mm. For the mid-range continued damage per second 382, and for the long range we got 119. The number of explosions with the Sabo will be a 5. Damage within explosion 1540. The action zone from 3.5 to 6 kilometers. Maneuverability we got 30 knot speed, 790 meters per second turning circle radius, and the 14.1 second rudder shift time. The concealment we got the 30.8 kilometer surface detectability, 9.6 kilometer for air detectability, and a 13 kilometer detectability after firing main guns in smoke. So starting tier 8, there will be another additional consumables aside for the emergency entry power. It goes on the surveillance radar, but it will be sometimes goes on in this newly feature to hunt down enemy destroyers and cruisers while on smoke, but it will go up ahead to take on the support. It will be duration time will be 30 seconds. The 10 kilometer surveillance radar range we got only 3 charges at a time. The next one is a tier 9 pan-European battleship Gustav den Store, a fast battleship capable of confronting the capital ships of Sweden potential adversaries, which could have been ordered as part of the emergency shipbuilding measure at the height of the Second World War. Her main armament, 9 381mm gun, is supplemented by the dual-purpose and air artillery systems that the Swedish Navy had in early 1940s. The ship is named in honor of the great Swedish king of the 17th century, a name inherited from a ship of the line of the 19th century. The parameters for the Gustav den Store. So let's get started to this. The hit points is 62,700, the 32mm flaming 20% torpedo protection. The main battery will be the same armament from the tier 8, the 3x3 381mm gun. Fire range is 20.8 kilometers, 5,100 HE shell damage, 24% chance of fire, the 750 meters per second for HE. The armor penetration we got 64 millimeters. For the AP, shell damage is 11,400, the 750 meters per second for AP. The 30-second reload time, the 40-second 180-degree turn time, maximum dispersion 268 meters, and the 1.80 sigma. For the airstrikes, we got a 30-second reload time. We got 2 available flights, only a single number of aircraft in attacking flight. We got 10 kilometer maximum range. We got 2 numbers in the bounds per payload, as well as the 4,200 bomb damage. For torpedoes, we got a 4x3 533mm. The range is about 12 kilometers, 17,500 damage, 65 knot speed, 100 second reload time, 7.2 second launcher, 180 degree turn time, and a 1.5 kilometer torpedo detectability. For secondary armament, we got a 4x2 120mm. We got 7 kilometer range, 3 second reload time. The HE shell damage 1,700. Chances to cause fire we got 7%, and the initial velocity 850 meters per second, and the armor penetration we got 20mm. For air defenses we got 10x1 40mm and 4x2 120mm. For the mid-range continued damage per second 441, and the long-range continued damage per second 119. Number of explosions in the Sabo will be 5. Damage within explosion 1,610. For the action zone we got 3.5 to 6 kilometers. For the maneuverability we got the speed is 31 knots, 840 meter turning circle radius, and a 50.2 second rudder shift time. For concealment we got a 14.1 kilometer for the surface, 10 kilometer for the air, and a 30.3 kilometer for detectability after firing main guns and smoke. Some consumables will be continued for that from tier 8. this time with the array for the large consumables, everything they need. Finally, the top tier of the pan-European battleship Thor. A hypothetical design of a powerful battleship with a 406mm main battery and the most modern AA systems of the post-war period. The development and implementation of the project at the turn of the 1940s and 1950s could have supported Sweden's status as the strongest Baltic naval power at the time. The battleship was named after the legendary god from the Norse mythology, inheriting it from the coastal defense ship that served in the Swedish Navy from the late 1890s to the late 1930s. Okay, this is gonna be a top tier for the pan-European battleship Thor. The hit points is 72,700, 32mm plating, and 21% torpedo protection. Okay, for the artillery, we got a 3x3 406mm. Fighting range is 21.7 kilometers. HE shell damage 5,700. Chances cost 5, 36%. And the armor penetration 68mm. The 900 meters per second velocity for HE. For AP shell damage is 30,650 and the same parameter for the velocity. The reload time is 30 seconds, 40 second 180 degree turn time. Dispersion we got 277 meters and the sigma is about 1.80. For the airstrike we got a 30 second reload time. We got 2 available flights, only a single number of aircraft in attacking flight. The range is about 11 kilometers. There will be only 2 bombs in payload and the 4,900 bomb damage. For torpedoes, we got a 4x4 533mm. The damage is 17,500. 12 kilometer torpedo range, speed is 70 knots. Reload time is about 100 seconds. The launcher 180 degree turn time 7.2 seconds. And torpedo detectability 1.5 kilometer. For the secondary armament, we got 6x2 120mm. The range is 7.3 kilometers, 1.3 second reload time. HE shell damage 1,750, 8% chance of fire, 825 meters per second for velocity, and the armor penetration 20mm. AA defenses, we got a 14mm 2x2 and 57mm 6x2 120mm. For the mid-range, we got the continued damage per second 484, and the long-range continued damage per second 399. Maneuverability, we got the 33 knot speed, 840 meter turning circle radius, and a 16.3 second rudder shift time. For concealment, we got a 14.6 kilometer surface detectability, a 10 kilometer air detectability, and a 14.5 detectability after firing main guns smoke. So inherited from the consumables that for its predecessor. All stats are listed without crew and upgrade modifiers. The stats are subject to change during the testing. The next one is a pan-European battleship Turgut Reis, a tier 8. The ship is named after a famous Ottoman naval commander. In the first third of the 20th century, this name was borne by one of the pre-dreadnought battleships of the Ottoman Navy. Turgut Reis is armed with powerful 419mm main battery guns with unusual layout, 2 double barrel turrets in the bow and 1 triple barrel in the stern. Unlike the new Tech 3 pan-European battleships, Turgut Reis bets more on her main guns and their power, while the maximum range is moderate and reload time is long. She has pretty good accuracy to strike the enemy right in the heart. That said, although she's equipped with torpedoes, they are only your weapon as last resort. Turgut Reis is a fast ship and has a good concealment for her tier, allowing effective tactical repositioning in the battle to find the best target for her 7 guns. Surveillance radar with a fast reload and short duration with your help with this one as well. Additionally, the fast reloading radar can help scan for looming threats often, as she has small HP pool like her Tech 3 counterpart and her armor is somewhat weak. You want to detect possible threats beforehand and avoid them. In battle, you should play a medium range and pick carefully when you strike with your highly accurate guns and make every shot count. Use your speed and low detectability to escape especially dangerous situations and abstain from duels with more durable enemy battleships. Okay, a Turgut race, a pan-European Turkey battleship. So the hit points is 59,200. The plating is 60mm, 15% torpedo, 30% torpedo protection. The artillery consists 1x3 490mm. We got the 18.5 fighting range. The HE shell damage 6,150. Armor penetration 17mm. Chances to cross fire 47%. And the initial velocity is 792 meters per second. AP shell damage we got 13,050. The initial velocity is about 747 meters per second. Reload time is about 35 seconds. 180-degree turn time 30 seconds. The maximum dispersion 203 meters. And the sigma is 1.90. For the main battery we got 2x2 490mm. The parameters will be effectively on the same. Airstrikes we got depth charges, 30-second reload time. We got 2 available flights. Only a single number of aircraft in attacking flight. The range is about 10 kilometers. 2 bounds per payload and 4,200 maximum bomb damage. For torpedo tubes, we got a 4x1 533mm. The damage is about 17,500. Range is 6 kilometers. The speed 17 knots. Reload time is about 80 seconds. 180-degree turn time 15 seconds. And torpedo detectability 1.5 kilometers. For the secondary armament, we got a 4x2 133mm and 12x2 152mm. For 133mm, we got the 6.6 kilometers. The reload time is about 5 seconds. We got HE shell damage 1,700. The chances of cross fire 8%. Initial velocity 746 meters per second. And the armor penetration we got 19mm. Okay, the next one is 12x2 152mm gun. The range is about 6.6 kilometers. The reload time is 12 seconds. HE shell damage 2,150. Chances of cross fire 9%. The initial velocity 884 meters per second. And the armor penetration 25mm. For the 8 defenses we got 8x2 14mm, 32x2 20mm, and 4x2 113mm. For short range, continued damage per second 403. For mid range, continued damage per second 312. And a long range, continued damage per second we got 42. Number of explosions in the salvo will be 2. Damage units within explosion 1,330. On the action zone 3.5 to 5.8 kilometers. For maneuverability, we got 31.4.9 knot maximum speed, and the turning circle radius 950 meters, and rudder shift time 40.9 seconds. For concealment, we got a 14.8 kilometer surface detectability, we got 10 kilometer air detectability, and a detectability after firing main guns smoke 15.1 kilometers. We got a consumables are available. The first slot, damage control party. Second slot, repair party. And the third slot is surveillance radar. Okay, the next one is a Tier 9 Italian cruiser Messina. The ship whose design is based on a heavy cruiser's hull is named after one of the important coastal cities in Sicily. Messina carries 9 152mm dual-purpose main battery guns placed in 3 triple turrets, armed with only sapped shells but capable of dishing out considerable damage per minute over medium range. Combined with the ship's high speed and for the cruiser and a decent concealment, you can get a light cruiser suitable for click and stealthily repositioning while preparing opponents with a steady stream of the shells of range. But that doesn't mean that Messina only shines in artillery shell exchanges. She is equipped with heavily heavily damaging torpedoes on both sides, as well as improved hydrokinetic research with a longer range, to take closer to unsuspecting foes and get them out of harm's way before even they shot. In general, Messina will find her place in the fleet of the captain who prefers to battle on medium ranges with maneuverability and fast-shooting ships, but doesn't mind getting in close quarters fight with the situation. Okay, for Messina, we got the hit points 43,600, 25mm plating, 30-second fire duration, and torpedo protection 90%. For the main battery, we got 3x3 152mm gun. The fire range is 16.8 km. Sap shell damage, we got 3,850. Armor protection, we got 42mm. The initial velocity 945 meters per second. Reload time is about 8 seconds. 180-degree turn time 50 seconds. Dispersion is 149 meters, and the sigma is 2.05. For the airstrikes, we got a reload time 30 seconds. We got 2 available flights. Normal aircraft in attacking flight will be a single. Range is about 7 kilometers. We got 2 bombs per payload, and the bomb damage is 4,200. For torpedo tubes, we got 2x4 533mm. The damage is about 20,433. The range is 8 kilometers, 72 knot speed, reload time 140 seconds, and torpedo detectability 1.7 kilometers. For the secondary armament, we got 12x2 19mm. The range is about 7 kilometers. 4-second reload time. HE shell damage 1,300. Chances of cross fire 5%, and the initial velocity 860 meters per second. Armor penetration 15mm. For the air defenses, we got 18x2 37mm, 12x2 19mm, and 3x3 152mm. For the mid-range continued damage per second 347, and the long-range continued damage per second is 238. Normal explosions in the salvo will be 2, damage within explosion 1,400. On the action zone, we got 3.5 to 5.2 kilometers. For maneuverability, we got 37 knot speed, 680 meters turning circle radius, and the 10.5 second rudder shift time. For concealment, we got a surface detectability 14 km, air detectability 8.7 km, and a 7.7 km detectability after firing main guns with smoke. Okay, we got the consumables for Messina. The first slot, damage control party. The second slot, repair party. The third, exhaust smoke generator. Fourth slot, hydrokinetic research. And the fifth slot is the catapult fighter. We can also now show the permanent camouflages for previously announced Land Show and Nuremberg 44. Alright, the next one is a Commonwealth Unique Historical Commander. The Commonwealth will get its own unique historical commander, John Augustine Collins. During the Second World War, he fought with distinction in the Mediterranean and the Pacific, commanding two major Australian cruisers. The whole Australian Navy with the title Chief of Naval Staff. In World of Warships, Collins comes to life as a unique commander during update 14.10, and he will be testing only with the following complement aid. Enhanced skills. For aircraft carriers, we got aircraft armor to TNA damage reduction, we got 12%, and instead we got 10% at the time. For battleships, cruisers, and adventures, we got for the for aircraft carriers, we got aircraft armor, we got continued A's damage reduction is about 12.5%, and instead about 10%. For he will also have 2 unique talents. Rise and Fight Again activates once per battle when the ship's HP drops to 10% and provides 2% second healing for 5 seconds. Trio Junta in triggers up to 3 times when you deal 60,000 damage, and okay, the triggers up to 3 times when you deal 60,000 damage and increases maximum ship speed by 2% and consumables duration by 5%. We will reveal his in-game portrait later, and we'll have to find out more announcements. Okay, for the last but not least is a rarity. Additionally, we would like to reveal the rarity of Comandante Agulia will be uncommon. Please note that all information in the development blog is preliminary. Announced adjustments and features may change multiple times during testing. The final information will be published on the game's website. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed for that about my full reading for the closed test, and the new ships will be held on the closed test 40.10 update. I know that I really have to get ready for this during update 40.9. There will be a seduction at this point. Okay, so that's a conclusion right now for so far that I read entirely. So thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe my channel and click the bell notification icon. And before I would like to go in further to is about an announcement. So I would decided to retire my playing World of Warships that took almost for the 5 years, and now I'm happy back. So I will not letting it down further about the getting the historical commander Gunther Lugens. He is the famous commander aboard the German battleship Bismarck. Okay, so that's it, and don't forget to subscribe my channel and click the bell notification icon. So I hope you enjoy, and be sure to check it out for the improvements to the dev blogs right now for this week. Be sure to check the link down in the description below. So I hope you enjoy for that. We'll be ready upon the next recording. So stay tuned guys. I hope you see you in my next video. Peace out guys.